Welcome back to Omoshiroi Recap. Today, I will recap 7 Nights Revolution, Hero Successor. The story begins when a small town is attacked by demonic monsters. No one seems to survive in the city except for the main character, Nemo, who tries to save himself by heading to the train station. But the monsters manage to find him and immediately attacked him. Fortunately, a train was heading there, and even a girl named Feria launched an electric spear attack on the monster. It turns out that Feria is one of the 7 knights chosen by the goddess Ceres to protect the world. With the power of the lightning spear, she can kill all the monsters while protecting Nemo. Knowing that Nemo is a new student at Grand Seed Academy, Feria invites Nemo to join her on the train to go to the academy together. But in the middle of the journey, a giant monster is chasing them there and knocking down the train. Fortunately, they are still safe even though Feria is seriously injured. Feria continues to launch multiple attacks, but the monster can regenerate. So Feria uses her spear to create a shield and asks Nemo to escape with her servant, Ellen. A hero card suddenly appeared when Nemo was upset with himself for being useless, which is a sign that he was chosen as a hero by Goddess Ceres. Goddess Ceres also grants Nemo's wish, who wants power to save everyone. So, the cursed hero appears and says that Nemo has the same principles as him. Therefore, he gladly gives his power to Nemo. Nemo immediately attacks the monster, and Feria assists him in launching her final attack. In the end, the monster is defeated thanks to teamwork. The next day, Feria, Nemo, and Ellen arrived at the academy. They met one of the 7 knights. He was named Joe. He was seen carrying the frozen dragon to be taken to the research lab. Then, the 7 knight members were gathered by Feria in the student council room. They were named Joe, Gildan, Gareth, and Shirley. Feria gathered them to introduce Nemo as a new member. However, many rejected this because Nemo was still a beginner and had not received any training. Feria felt that Nemo had hidden abilities even though the power of his hero name was still mysterious. In the end, Nemo was still accepted as a member of the 7 knights. After the meeting, Feria asked Joe to take Nemo around the academy. While walking around, they met a sexy school librarian named Sophisha. Sophisha explained that the top students there would get the opportunity to contract with heroes and gain their powers. Usually, the hero's power is given through training, but it is different with Nemo, who suddenly gets the power. When they were in the alchemy lab, an earthquake suddenly occurred. It turned out that the previous dragon had managed to free itself from freezing, and the dragon began to wreak destruction in the place. Joe immediately turned into a hero to fight it. But the dragon got a new ability, regeneration. So Joe had difficulty freezing the dragon, while Nemo also helped him by restraining the dragon's movements. Even Nemo changed shape for the first time. So, they both managed to defeat the dragon. Thanks to that, their friendship became closer. Feria held a meeting about the monsters that were getting stronger. Feria asked them to get stronger and be ready for 24 hours if a monster appeared. After the meeting, they discussed the previous battle, and even Gareth praised Nemo's fighting skills. Meanwhile, Gildan became sad because he felt weaker than the others. Therefore, Gildan was determined to train even harder to become stronger. The next day, they were suddenly asked to go to a city, and it turned out that many monsters had attacked the city. The 7 knights immediately plunged into battle. Each of them uses the power of heroes. Gareth can turn into a dark knight named Chris. Shirley is a fire master who can control many swords, and Gildan is a dragon guardian hero skilled in close combat. But his magic capacity is very little, and he even blunders there. Fortunately, Nemo could save him immediately. Joe and Nemo worked together as before to defeat the giant monster. Ultimately, the battle was over, but Gildan doubted himself after that incident. Although Gildan continued to train hard to fight the doubts in his mind, it turned him into a monster. As a result, Gildan got out of control and went on a rampage. They took turns attacking him while trying to resuscitate Gildan. Not only that, the hero in his body helped him so that Gildan could regain consciousness. They immediately took him out of the monster's body. After the battle ended, their trust increased and they had a good relationship. Nemo regained consciousness after fainting all day, and Feria specially treated him. Feria advised Nemo to rest first to recover his magic power quickly. While Gildan was treated by Joe and Gareth explained that the previous phenomenon was very strange because the hero's power could not get out of control that quickly, and felt that someone was influencing Gildan to get out of control. Gareth confirmed that the possible culprit was around the academy. After that, they gathered at Nemo's place and played cards together. Then, Nemo explained that he could not talk to the hero, so they were surprised because they could all talk to the hero without problems. As a result, they advised Nemo to head to the library. Maybe Sophisha could help Nemo with the problem. Nemo meets Sophisha at the library the next day and asks about his hero. Although there is all the information about the hero and the history of his achievements, there is no information about Nemo's hero in the library. Then Feria meets Shirley with her colleague named Mina. It seems that the disciplinary committee members have been attacked by vampires. They also confirm that a vampire is hiding in the school. Therefore, Nemo is willing to help them investigate the vampire's existence. Then, at night, Mina and Nemo are together. Mina also took Nemo to the school forest yard, and Shirley accidentally drank Ellen's blood there. Sensing that there was someone there, Shirley immediately wanted to catch him, but knowing her identity as a vampire had been revealed, she decided to run away from there. Meanwhile, Nemo tried to chase her to talk nicely first, but Shirley continued to attack him. It turned out that she had a dark past and had always been treated badly by humans, because vampires are considered monsters. Nemo also promised not to leak it because Shirley was a valuable teammate. Of course, the other members did not mind this and accepted it well. Then they met Mina again. Unexpectedly, Mina was also a vampire and the mastermind of the incident. Mina explained that Fizzies ordered her to divide the 7 Knights and intended to rule the world. Although Mina seemed to dominate in battle, fortunately, the hero Nemo gave him a little of his strength, thanks to which Nemo could launch the magic cannon. In the end, Mina was burned to death by the sun. After the battle, Shirley thanked Nemo for accepting her and keeping her identity as a vampire a secret. Not only that, Shirley bit his neck to confirm her curiosity that Nemo was also hiding something from her. On the other hand, Gareth investigated the origin of Fizzies, who could appear in their academy, but unfortunately, he did not find anything. The next day, the Academy Festival will be held there, and a romantic dance party will be held at night. One of the students invited Gareth to dance together. She was named Claire. Claire will help Gareth's investigation if he agrees to dance together. Gareth also agreed to this. As a result, Claire continued to investigate until she found a secret place in the old library. When entering, Claire found a dangerous book, but she accidentally touched the book. So when Claire met Gareth and felt happy to be dancing together, her body suddenly became crystal and crumbled into pieces. After Claire's death, Gareth feels guilty and wants to find the culprit to atone for his sin of putting Claire in danger. The next day, the Academy officials ordered Feria and the other 7 Knights to capture a Fizzies leader named Germaine, who was hiding in the volcano. The Academy officials want the 7 Knights to destroy all enemies so there are no more victims like before. Then, the day of the attack had arrived. Gildan and Joe led an army to invade from the front line, while the others jumped from the sky to enter the volcano. Arriving at the mysterious research lab, they met 3 artificial heroes guarding the place. They fought each other there. It seemed they used equipment like heroes, but it was slightly different. They control the hero's power like a tool, not caring about each other's colleagues. Suddenly, their strength grew stronger and they entered possession mode, so that abundant strength can make the 7 knights helpless. Then, Nemo and the others focused on targeting their weaknesses by destroying their cooperation, so they argued with each other there. Not only that, but they overused the hero's power and their bodies were destroyed. It turns out that the heroes who have been sealed managed to break free and rebel in their bodies. Ultimately, one was killed by Shirley's attack, while the other escaped. Then, an artificial hero named Ridao wanted to talk to Nemo. Nemo also asked Feria and Shirley to immediately go to the Fizzy's leader's place, Germaine. While he talks to Ridao, it turns out that Nemo and Ridao are siblings or both artificial beings who aim to be artificial heroes. But Nemo is different from the others because he was chosen as the son of destruction. Then, when they fight each other, Ridao suddenly hears her hero's voice because the hero recognizes Ridao's good intentions. As a result, she became a true successor with a contract with the hero. In the end, they decided to make a truce to defeat the leadership of Fizzies together. On the other hand, the artificial hero who escaped earlier has been finished off by Germaine, or the leader of Fizzies. Seeing him kill his own subordinates made Shirley and Feria upset. Even though they managed to stab him, it turned out that Germaine had the power to manipulate time. On the other hand, Gareth was in the old library and found a hidden place that Claire had entered before. While he was there, many monsters were attacking him. Not only that, there was also Sophisha there. Sophisha found a book about the truth. The old library has a secret. Anyone who finds out about it will be cursed into a crystal. Sophisha also explained that there was a traitor, Nemo, because he was the son of destruction who could awaken the god of destruction. On the other hand, Nemo and Ridao gather with the others to fight Germaine. But before fighting, Germaine explains that artificial heroes are just tools to find the son of destruction. Knowing that he was just a tool, of course, Ridao immediately launched an attack full of anger. However, Germaine easily defeated them all because he could regenerate endlessly. Even the helpless Nemo was forced to turn into evil mode. Fortunately, Ellen came there and saved them. The hero, Vanessa, turns out to have the power of time control. By sacrificing her hero's power, Ellen destroyed Germaine's source of time power. As a result, Germaine could not regenerate again. Knowing that, they immediately launched an attack together. In the end, Germaine is killed by an overpowering attack from Nemo. After the battle ended, the 7 knights wanted to return to the academy, but Gareth came and wanted to detain Nemo because it was suspected that Nemo was the mastermind of Claire's death, and Nemo was not a human. On the other hand, Germaine was still alive and met Sophisha, the mastermind of it all. Thanks to Germaine's hard work, he managed to make Ellen lose her time-controlling powers so that Sophisha's plan could not be stopped by Ellen and the others. Meanwhile, Germaine became crystal and died completely. Subsequently, Nemo was imprisoned on suspicion of having brought havoc to the academy, but Gildan argued that Nemo was on their side. However, the others still suspected Nemo and wanted to be executed immediately. Then Gareth talks with Nemo. Nemo explains that his right hand is a monster because he was born as an artificial creature made by Germaine. Nemo managed to get free from there thanks to the help of a cursed hero named Genius. It turns out that Genius owns the old library and is considered a cursed hero by many people. On the other hand, Feria, who heard their conversation, decided to investigate by heading to the old library. Incidentally, the hero has also met Genius in the past, and he thinks that Genius is a good person. Then, arriving there, Feria finds a mysterious book. After approaching the book, Feria knows the truth about Nemo. On the other hand, the Academy will soon execute Nemo in front of the Academy officials and Sophisha. But Gildan came with Shirley, who emphasized that the Empire would delay the execution because they all lacked evidence of Nemo's guilt. Not only that, Feria also came there and explained the truth that she already knew. Nemo also admitted that he was a monster and killed a boy named Nemo while taking his form. Unexpectedly, after hearing this, Feria even sides with Nemo and wants to protect him there. Then Feria fought everyone who was there to protect Nemo. Not only that, Rida also brought a flying boat to pick them up. As a result, Feria and Nemo boarded the ship and immediately ran away from there. Then Ridu explains that the mastermind of it all is Sophisha, even manipulating Nemo to use the power of genius. As a result, Nemo unknowingly releases the seal on the old library. After that, the two rested first so their strength could recover. They also planned to immediately return to the academy to defeat Sophisha. On the other hand, Gareth, upset that he couldn't kill Nemo, decided to get strong power from Sophisha. As a result, Sophisha turns Gareth into a monster and forces him to exceed the limits of his hero's power. After some time, Nemo and the others headed to the old library. Although they were confronted by three of their friends, fortunately, Rida could explain the truth that Sophisha had used them. As a result, Shirley and Gildan decided to take her side. But Joe, who had been influenced by Sophisha, making him so out of control as a monster, Gildan will fight him alone so that the others can help Nemo. On the other hand, when they arrived at the library, the Feria hero named Eunomia and Genius explained their past. They both fought many monsters together, and at the last moment, Genius sacrificed himself to seal the gate of the demon world into the Book of Time. However, Sophisha, who was there and knew about it, intended to break the seal of the time book so that the world was filled with monsters. It turns out that initially, Sophisha was just jealous when Genius chose Eunomia over her. Because her love is rejected, she intends to destroy the world. Ultimately, Sophisha kept changing bodies to survive for hundreds of years. After that, Sophisha appeared to meet them, and there was a fight. But Nemo became seriously injured because Gareth suddenly attacked him. So Nemo died, and the time book seal began to open. Fortunately, Ellen came to use the rest of her hero power to reverse time to save Nemo's life so that Nemo could regain consciousness. In exchange for Ellen dying, Shirley turned Ellen into an immortal vampire with her to survive. Then Sophisha devoured the book that time and made it into a disgusting giant monster. With her giant body, she can destroy the academy while slaughtering the students and teachers. Seeing this, the 7 knights gathered together to protect the students. Not only that, Gareth also helped them by absorbing dark energy to open the way so that Nemo and Feria could fight Sophisha in the final battle. When they meet unceremoniously, they fight each other at full power while combining their powers to launch a magic cannon that can purify anything. Although the attack was powerful, Sophisha could still survive there. As a result, Nemo was forced to use the power of monsters to end the battle. By sacrificing the genius hero's power, they could defeat Sophisha.
Nemo, 汝の欲することをなせ。僕らの明日だ!
After the battle, they could live school life as usual. Even the 7 knights reunited cheerfully, while Feria and Nemo traveled around the world with the time book to find a way to eliminate it while enjoying life together. However this story ends, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.